Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the behavior interview. Uh, these are some points which are for me as a guideline. So I will try my best to discuss around these points. And before going to start on the one important thing, again it's my experience or my opinion. You are allowed to agree or disagree, but still I want to share with the community. So maybe that will be helpful for someone. We will start with my opinion. So, what is my opinion about a behavior interview? So, we need to understand what is a behavior interview or a career discussion. So, I will say it's more like a casual discussion with the interviewer where he will ask you uh, some questions and he will try to measure some points, try to get some signals from you, and that depends on a lot of things. On the other side, most of the time there is not a right and a wrong answer about those questions which mostly they ask in a behavior interview. So no right and wrong. And also I personally I felt there is a possibility you are an amazing developer, you are a very smart guy, you did a very good job in your coding interviews, your system design interviews, but maybe in this interview you are not able to pass. So here what does that mean? Pass does not mean you are not good. It does mean you are not aligned with the organization cultures and values, which we will discuss later. So, and can we change? Yes, we can change ourselves if we really love to do work with someone. So it's not easy, but it's possible. So yeah, so that is my opinion. I'm going to summarize again. Okay, there is not a right and a wrong answer. Maybe you are very smart, but you're still not able to pass this interview. Here, pass does not mean you are going to fail. It means you are not aligning with those. So we can start now. The next is organization culture and values. So uh, or maybe before that we can discuss a little bit more about the behavior. So what does that mean? So when when you ask a question, there is always a reason. So sometimes you ask a question, you want to understand something. That is same here. When they are going to ask you a question, that and your answers have a lot of information which they try to understand. The interview will try to understand, okay, if that is the situation you are saying this, it means it may align with our culture, it may not align with our culture. So that is a behavior interview. Try to understand that person, how he is aligning with our values. And yeah, that is all that interview. Yeah, sometimes I heard people are asking coding questions in that behavior interview. I'm not sure why, but most of the time I heard it's mostly a casual discussion, and my experience is the same, like casual discussion with someone. So now we can go to the organizing culture and values. So when you're going for the interview, you always try to understand the organization. So for example, there is an organization A. It's kind of a startup, and in case of a startup, their culture and values may be different. They really want someone who is really geeky, try to complete things very fast, and they are not really taking care of your other skills, like kind of a maybe soft skill or little bit about the communication skills or how you are going to handle, because the requirement is different. So their questions, their question may be same, but your answers will give them that signal, okay, I will do this and this and this. But on the other side, if you are going in an organization which is pretty stable and they are there from maybe for more than a decade, it means they have their own values, they already figure it out how they want to work. And now you need to understand, if you really want to work with that organization, try to understand what are their values and cultures. And most organizations have, like, you can easily download from the Google by writing the name of the organization. You will figure it out, okay, that is there. And how and where I am, should I need to change myself or I already aligned. So that is a very important thing. Yeah, sometimes it happen. Some companies do behavior interview because a lot of good companies are doing, so they are copying, but in the end I felt they don't have any like uh, metrics what they want to measure from that interview. So in these type of scenarios, it's more like you can pass easily by showing your motivation and your voice. Like if you are kind of a person who who can like easily communicate and like, hey, yes, I really do this, I really love to do this and this. And on the other side, if you are kind of you are still good, but you are like introvert and you are like, yes, yeah, I did like this, and like a low tone your pitch, then maybe it's difficult. And so I don't know how how to manage that type of scenarios. But in most of the organizations which are stable, they have values. It means they don't care about how you are going to communicate, like your speaking skill, your voice pitch. It's still good, but still they are more looking towards what you are telling to them, and they're trying to grab that information from your answers, and your and not a lot of focus on your pitch. So that is also one point. Then it also comes the organization values and culture. And until now, in my experience, like I don't have a lot of experience, it's only a 1 decade, but still I figure it out. Okay, there are two type of mostly organization. One where you have a culture where they are saying maybe you are an individual contributor, and you are working in a team where they have the engineering manager. And on the other side, there are some companies who follow the most like approach of a PM, project managers. So the difference between is mostly in what I understand. So individual contributor means, okay, they have a lot of expectation from you. You are like, okay, you are taking responsibility, you are taking the ownership, you have more ideas. So it's like a bottom up approach. Yeah, there should be some goals which are coming from the leadership towards you, but in by aligning that goals, you can do anything what you want. And engineering managers are there to help you to grow in your career growth. In a project management system, mostly what happened, the things comes from top down. Leadership will say, okay, we need to do this, shift to this, and then it will come to the project manager, and the project manager is responsible to divide that properly. And then you are jumping in and you are taking care of your role there. And still you can also do the same thing there, but like there is a difference you can feel easily. So you also need to understand, okay, you are going to interview with the company which they have the IC culture. You really, are you ready for that culture or not? If you are in this culture and you are coming from this, then maybe you have more problem in the PM. Like you are not really have the uh, that still you can do a lot of work, but there are some blockers which may give you some tough time. So you need to change yourself sometimes. And sometimes your personality is like this and you're going in that organization, their value is same like that, so it's good match. Then next, honesty or fake it. Okay, so try your best to be honest. If you try to fake it, at the moment when you start faking it, most of the time, I have a feeling 99.9999% interview will figure it out easily. You are faking it, and it's not an honest answer. So try your best. Honest and fake means, okay, they are sending you, they throw you a question and you already search a lot on a Google and discuss, okay, if someone asks you this question, you need to give that answer, and you are trying to make that answer like that. He will figure it out or she will figure it out easily by asking you two three more questions. Are you faking it, or you are honest? Honest means you already have that experience, or maybe you observe that in your organization, or there is a problem, or there is that question. I never be a part of that, but I heard and I am observing that scenario and these things happen. So it's more like the honesty, which is again a good signal or a good sign. Then some problems which mostly I feel, some of my friends feel like so it really depends your industry experience. So when I started in 2012, I started as an Android engineer, and in my country there, uh, I'm not sure I will say lucky or not, but at that time the Android is pretty new, and there are not a lot of developers available. So I need to work a lot as a solo developer. So I don't have a team around me. I have a backend guy, I have this guy, but most of the time I'm doing my own work, and that is done. So I don't know how to pitch things, how to convince other people, how to work in a team, how you will be a good team member, how to talk with the people, and how to be optimistic and never to be pessimistic. Because when you work solo, your process, your thoughts will change with the passage of time, and it's sometimes it's pretty bad. Like you are stuck with something, and then it's pretty difficult if you are not getting a proper mentorship to come outside from that, because then you are like, okay, I did this work from like maybe 1 decade, now I'm not getting a good job. Yeah, I can do a freelance, I can earn a lot, but why not? And the reason is this. So you need to be very careful. You should do work as a solo, but try your best to read more books, watch other videos, how other teams are working, how in this world how things work. And the background is again same. It also depends in which country you are, from where you are going to start, from which university you completed your degree. They also, I have a feeling, they impact. Yeah, there are some people who don't care. They thought, they think, okay, we will do what we want to do easily. And but I figure it out, not everyone is like that. There are some, like 1 or 2 people, they can manage, they can fight, but not everyone is ready to fight. So if you have an environment, most of the people can happily do work in that environment. So these 2 points are very important. They always make things pretty difficult at some stage for a lot of developers. So now we can start our discussion in the form of so assume we are an interview, and I am a candidate, and interviewer is there, and he is going to ask me a question. So once we started, hello, hi, how are you, good, how is your weekend, or how is your day? After that, he throw me a question, uh, tell me or tell us about yourself, or maybe CV. This one is very important. Sometimes when you are going to give your CV, try to update, don't add anything which you don't know. To be honest, remove things. It's very important. So most of the time behavior interview, they started from the CV, they will read that CV, and maybe they will ask you, and it's a starting point. And if you put some experience which is not related to you, or maybe it's a fake experience, and they figure it out and they started from there, you are going to lose some points. So CV is important, try to update, try to understand. Now this, in behavior interview, most of the questions, truly saying, it's pretty difficult for me. Every time I always think about myself, oh, what will be the answer of this? Tell me about yourself. And I figured it out, okay, uh, he's basically asking about my experience. So what I do, I used to do, okay, so I'll say, okay, maybe I can start chronological order. So I completed my degree in this year. After that, I started my first job, and then I moved into the other technology due to this reason. Then I just leave this job, then started the next job, then started the next job, then got the opportunity out of my country. Then I moved there, then I worked there, then I worked there, then I moved there, and it mostly take maximum 1 minute to share with him each and everything about my whole experience. And in the end, I will say, okay, that is my kind of a short introduction. If you have any specific questions, please ask. And that is done. Now he can or she can ask you any question, but if you share with him the honest things, it means the next question you already know the answer of that question. But if you try to do something fake in between, it means now you are on a chance. If she or he asks you a question on that fake thing, you are gone. But if it's honest, I don't care, I know everything. Okay, you want to know about the 2016 to 17? Oh yes, I did this, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I did this, blah blah blah. So that is really important. Next, then after that, mostly they ask these questions, okay, about the conflict resolution, and that is a pretty important question, especially when you are going to work in a team. in both cultures, IC and PM, you need to be good with the conflict resolution. But what happened, there is some people, maybe maybe some of you who are listening, they don't understand what I'm saying, but there is a very big issue with this industry experience and background with this question. If I am a solo, no one is there to review my code, no one is there to give me any suggestion, I'm only watching YouTube videos, I'm only learning from the books, how I can be resolved a conflict? So it's a pretty difficult situation. So what should I do? Okay, and I used to have this problem with myself, but later I got a chance to work in a team where I got that opportunity to understand. But before that, what I used to do, okay, I understand, okay, this is very important, because otherwise I'm lacking that. And the truth is, the companies mostly don't care uh, about your kind of a background. Like if you don't have a experience with the team, you are always work a solo, then maybe they don't want to invest on you to first teach you how to be part of a team. So it's my responsibility to understand if I'm lacking something, I should learn that. So for this, you can learn by different techniques. Okay, one is a GitHub. It's amazing. If you are solo, it's okay to take any project, open source project, create a pull request. No one can stop you on a GitHub. You can create thousands of pull requests. Yeah, there is a possibility no one is going to accept your pull request, but I'm pretty sure once you will create one, two, three, four, five, there will be someone who will figure it out, a jumping, and maybe they will feel, okay, you want to do this, and there is a start a communication, and then you can start learning, okay, how they are working. Then on the other side, you can open different GitHub open source code, and you can learn, you can read their, okay, the logs, how they are doing, what are the changes, how many people are working there, open a random the diff, and then try to understand what the person is saying, the suggestion, what that suggestion is, what is the problem with that code according to him, and how they figure it out. So it's very important, it depends upon you. You need to learn on your own if you started your career as a solo developer. Okay, then there are some techniques or patterns you will learn with the passage of time. Like for me, how I learned, I used to watch a lot of videos about the architectures. Okay, he's working in IBM, how he used to work, and how teams are working, watching some videos, reading some books, pragmatic programmer are those, and then I figure it out. Okay, I divided myself into two. Okay, half is one and half is two, and maybe that will not be helpful for you, but you can try. So on a one side, I'm writing something, and once I complete, I stop, and then I start behaving like, okay, I'm not that one who wrote that code, I'm the one who is going to read that code and review that code. And then it's pretty difficult because your brain really know what you did and you can't remove that history, but still try. And at one point I figured it out, okay, that is going good. And then I start learning about the unit test and test driven development. From there I learn a lot. Okay, so once I'm writing proper test, TDD, yeah, they have their on learning curve, but they help me out when I'm writing code. Sometimes I figure it out, okay, my test is telling me kind of okay, I have a conflict with you, the code which you are writing, you are not able to write a test for that, maybe I'm using some static variable or anything. So it's a conflict. Yeah, that is not a human, that is a code kind of a how to say virtual thing, but that is telling me, okay, I have a conflict with you, now you need to fix. Now there is a communication, so you can start a communication with that, okay, why blah blah blah. Then maybe you can change from your side, the code will change and you can write, or maybe you can agree with that test, yes, that test is saying something, I have a bad approach, I need to remove. So from there you can observe, you can learn by the testing. Then if you are now working in a team, how you manage. So they, so for me, my first approach is, if I have a disagreement with something, and mostly with the developers that happen on code reviews. So my first approach is try to go and then check the test and ask that person, okay, can you write a test for this use case? And if he can't, it means now he understands what I'm saying, because verbally it's pretty difficult for me to convey what is the issue. Then sometimes it happened that from the design pattern perspective, like he person is adding inheritance and you already faced that issue around 2 years ago. There is a problem, so try to ask him, okay, that is going to be a pretty difficult for us in after 1 month. When you put this one, what will happen? There will be a fat interfaces and blah blah blah. So by doing this, but always be go with the progressive mind and try to share your knowledge and also try to understand. There is a possibility you face something and you think what the other person is doing is wrong, but he also have already some kind of a experience. So also try to understand. Don't be like, okay, I know what I know, that is true. No, it's not like that, especially in our field. So you need to be ready. If someone is going to challenge you, it's not like you are going to fight with that person and you need to say, no, I'm strict, what I'm saying that is true. No, you should be ready. You can ask some questions, be ready to change and learn from that and move on. That is the one technique you need to, you need to understand that, otherwise it's pretty difficult. Then sometimes it happens conflict resolution with your project manager or a manager on a promotion. You need to understand, you need to talk. And conflict resolution does not mean if someone asks you a question, okay, can you tell us any scenarios, like you need to say, oh yes I did and I win or I lost. It's not like that. Yeah, you will share, okay, I tried my best, that is my opinion, but I'm not able to justify that by giving arguments, or I'm not able to convince, and then this happened. And sometimes, yeah, I tried my best, I did this, and this happened. So for example, when you are sharing with this, also please prepare. Try to memorize, try to remember, okay, when you did last time, what type of conflict resolution you did. And when someone asks, they can ask you a next question to make 100% sure you are not faking that. Okay, can you share with me where it happened, with what, whom? And you need to tell them, okay, in 2017 I'm working in that company and there I have a friend and he wrote a code, and he makes something like, for example, optional ID. And I figure it out. IDs are always mandatory. If there is an optional ID, I need to understand again what that code is, and I figure it out. Yeah, that is wrong, because by putting the optional ID, he can't do anything. There is no API against that ID, so you can't get any data. So user on a screen showing loading screen or nothing. There is no state. So I share with him. Okay, it's a mandatory field. If it's not there, please throw an exception. So the developer who is using your code, he should aware of, okay, it's a mandatory field, and I'm able to convince. So I have a valid example. You need to prepare that. Preparation means you need to figure it out. You need to memorize. You need to remember what when you did what you did. So now we can move to the next step. Then these type of questions, if you do a Google search, there are thousands of questions like these. So why they are asking? First question is, can you share with me your ideal day in the office, or your best day? What should happen with you? You will say, okay, this is my ideal day. Or maybe they can ask, okay, what type of manager you think is an ideal manager for you? So this question, and I found a lot of time people are not able to give an answer for that. Like they say, ideal day, okay, I will come, I will complete my task, and I think that is my ideal day. And which is kind of a wrong. Why? Everyone has this uh, some moments where they say, oh yes, or they are happy without any reason after doing something. Yeah, that is, you need to remember when it happened with you, and that is a part of this question. So because as an interview I have no idea who you are, I will ask you some questions like this so I can understand more. But if you give me the answer, like an answer which has some there is no information for me, I will say it's bad. I will take as a negative point. But I know in my life there are a lot of situations, maybe when I learned first time the interface, how to use an interface, and when I apply that, it's an amazing day for me. But I don't remember that. It's an ideal day for me, kind of. So when someone asks you these questions, try to think and then give some answer. So maybe I can try. Again, it's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but if someone asks me what do you think about your best day or ideal day, So I figure it out in my personality. There are too many things. One, for example, I have a session with my team members where I'm sharing my knowledge with them. Oh man, I'm really happy. I really love to share, and especially if something is really complex and I'm able to map that very simple. So I will be happy. That is my ideal day. Okay, I'm there. I created a diff or I created a pull request, and someone shared with me his experience, and he shared with me, and I learn a new pattern. Oh, it's an ideal day for me. Okay, I'm there. We started some experiment, and we completed that experiment, and we figured it out. Okay, by using A/B testing, this is a success. That is my ideal day because I learned something. Okay, how things work. So anything which make you really happy, it's kind of an ideal day. Then I someone can ask you also, what what about the bad days, and you can give the answer. Okay, when you really feel frustrated, like for example, I'm not able to solve a one problem, and it's pretty frustrated, and kind of there is not a lot of help available on the search platform. So it's like sharing all those your thoughts on those days, what happened, and then in the end, I'm sure once that bad day started, it will end on a happy and ideal day. And that happened with, I'm not sure about the other field, but every developer, you have an issue from 2 weeks or 2 days. The day when you fix, that is your ideal day, because now you, on that day, you will feel the happiness, the motivation, and you want to do more work or you want to go somewhere. So it's like this. So you try your best to remember that. Don't fake it. It's pretty easy question. Same for the best manager. Okay, so it's for me, who is the best manager? Okay, I'll say for me the ideal manager is, I will start working him with him. I understand in the start he don't or she don't have a trust on me because I'm a new team member. But my expectation is after 6 months or 1 years, he she should trust me, and that is again my duty to make that environment and to prove that yeah, you can trust me. And then they give me the freedom, because now they understand, okay, he is a guy who took the ownership, who is responsible, so we can trust him. And from my side, I will do more over communication. If there is an issue, I will try my best. So that type of uh, once that is there, it means he is an ideal candidate for me. I want to work with that guy or that girl because I really want that freedom. And that freedom I need to earn, but I really want he's kind of that person. I really don't like someone who is coming and going nitty gritties. But it in my whole like the in experience, I found I never met any manager who is bad for me. But what I did, I always communicate timelines, and I always get that freedom. Okay, Hafiz, this is the thing, it's yours, do what you want. So it's kind of that. So it depends on me, but you need to give an answer. What type of ideal manager you want? And it does not mean a question means we will prepare for you according to how you want. No, you need to tell them, okay, this kind of a person, I'm like this, I will make more confidence, trust, and then this is the case where I feel okay, he's my now ideal manager. then then also they will ask sometimes how you learn. So it's very important, especially in our field, that question how you learn. So there are multiple answers, but share what do you do. Please share that. Don't assume like everybody watch YouTube, so most probably he already know I'm also watching. No, share. Okay, I have some channels which I subscribe, I watch from there. Maybe he can want to confirm, are you honest? He will ask you, okay, can you share with us some names of those channels? You can say, okay, I am following this and this and this, here I learned this, from this channel I learned this. I also search randomly, and there are a lot of good material is available. Then I also have a library. I bought a orally books, so from there I learn any topic which I want randomly. Sometimes I select. Then also I learn from by reviewing the open source code. Like for me, I used to open the Android open source code and try to dig deep and try to understand what is text view, how it's implemented under the hood. Then I also open the Firebase. It's an open source. Any open source SDK, I go there, I try to learn how they are implementing the techniques. I also learn from many different sources. So share, okay, I also learn by writing something, so I figure it out, this is something complex, I try to write, simplify that, and then that is also a one learning. By sharing I do learn, okay, by going into the sessions. So it's pretty good to share each and everything, because they are trying to understand what type of person you are, especially if you are going in an IC type of culture. This one is very important, these 2 points. You should be able to conflict resolution, you should be good with that. You should not be stuck like you're waiting someone else come and they will resolve that. No, if you are like that, then IC is not a proper for you. You need to learn those techniques, how to manage that in case of this. Yeah, because sometimes you need to jump in, you need to figure it out. People are there to help you, but you are on your own. That's why they are saying individual contributor. Okay, then your motivation, you can share more. What do you want to do? Sometimes people ask after 5 years where you think you will be. I have no idea about that question, which is really bad. I have some ideas. Maybe I'm shy to share with you, but it's kind of like that. So yeah, this is a whole behavior interview. I hope you. I hope I share with you something which will be helpful for you. So yep. Thank you. Bye.